Hello, welcome to Health Hope. We know your health is important, so we have designed this program especially for you. Through interviews with health and wellness professionals and stories of those who have overcome difficult life experiences, we want to bring you the most up-to-date information and current trends on health and wellness. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Gail McKenzie, and I'm your host. Today we have a very special guest. Dr. Paul Yim is a family physician who practices here in Nashville, Tennessee. He is going to be bringing us part one of a three-part series on Dan Buettner's Blue Zones. I know you're going to enjoy this series, so I hope you'll just sit back and relax and learn a lot today from Dr. Yim. Thank you, Dr. Yim, for being with us.
Thank you, Gail, and welcome to the Blue Zone presentation. I'll be your host tonight on a fascinating journey around the world to discover the secrets of the Blue Zones. This is part two of a three-part series on health that I have. The first one is called God's Health Plan. I hope you didn't miss that one. This one is the Blue Zones, and the third one, the final one, is called Total New Start, Total Body Health. I highly recommend you watch all three. It'll be totally practical. Tonight is the Blue Zones, and Dan Buettner's book, The Blue Zones, became a New York Times bestseller and is endorsed by heavy hitters like Dr. Oz, Oprah, and CNN's Sanjay Gupta. In the book, Dan and his team of researchers travel the globe searching for the longest living and healthiest people on the planet. And today, we'll travel with them and learn secrets that can help us live long and healthy too. First, what are the Blue Zones and how did they get their name? Well, it turns out the team of researchers were sitting around the map of the world searching for high concentrations of what are called centenarians. These are people who live to at least 100 years old. And the researcher that they assigned to mark the map happened to use a blue pen, hence the name Blue Zones. Not very scientific, is it? Actually, I think it was serendipitous. Because what are the images that come to your mind when you think of blue and true blue? That's right, faithfulness, loyalty, and devotion, right? And in tonight's presentation, you'll learn that those are the real secrets of the Blue Zone longevity, okay? The 4 Blue Zones that are highlighted in the book are Nicoya, Costa Rica, Sardinia, Italy, and Okinawa, Japan, and finally, Loma Linda, California. So, in preparation for our flight, please put your seatbacks and tray tables in the upright and locked position and turn off all portable electronic distractions, including cell phones. Our first destination will be Nicoya, Costa Rica. This peninsula on the west coast of the country is home to the Nicoya natives. These people are genetic descendants of an Indian tribe, very homogeneous, which means genetically they're very similar, very inbred. Let's see what the team learned about them. First, their faith is Catholic. Due to the hundreds of years of imperial Spaniard influence, their faith is Catholic, and they also get daily intense physical exercise. In fact, they make it a part of their day. In farming, gardening, and food preparation, they walk, and work hard. So it's part of their exercise daily routine. They also get plenty of sunshine due to their location geographically, and the vitamin D from the sun is being shown more and more to be highly beneficial to health and prevention of disease. Also, their water has a very high mineral content. In fact, Costa Rica has a high mineral content in their water already, but in Nicoya Peninsula, it has the highest in all of Costa Rica, a very high calcium content. And the researchers think maybe that has something to do with their longevity. Their dietary staple consists of a combination of beans, squash, and whole grain corn tortillas. Now, let's think about that. The beans, do you think that those beans are canned beans from Kroger? No, right? They actually grew it themselves, right, from their garden. The squash, organic squash from their garden. And the corn tortillas, these are whole grain corn tortillas, not the refined, highly preservative-filled tortillas that we might buy at the supermarket. So a diet of beans, squash, and whole grain corn tortillas. I'm hungry already, aren't you? Now, they also benefit from a year-long fruit consumption. This is also due to their location. They have the benefit of being able to garden and farm fruit all year long. Wow. Also, their elders live with their families in a cohesive unit in multi-generational family homes. Unfortunately, unlike us here in America, they're not a wealthy nation, so they don't have the money for nursing homes and such. Oh, the elderly have to live with their family. Actually, don't you think that that helps their longevity and their purpose in life? No matter how elderly they may be, there's always something they can do, either gardening, food preparation, or helping with the children. And that keeps the elderly in a close-knit bond with the rest of the family. Now, interestingly, the team learned that over 70% of the men there admit to having cheated on their wives. Could adultery be a longevity factor? My wife told me it would shorten a man's life, and I'd believe her. Moving on to the next blue zone, Sardinia, Italy. This is in Europe, and on the west side of Italy, you know how Italy is shaped like a boot? Well, this is off the knee of that leg, is a large island called Sardinia, and on this island are a fascinating group of people. They too are highly homogeneous. Their history is fascinating. It dates back to even the Bronze Age. Think Alexander the Great's time. They populated the island of Sardinia, and when the Roman Empire took over, they were coming and populating the coastline. Well, these people would be chased up into the mountains, and eventually they holed themselves up high in the mountains. And let's see what the team learned about them. First of all, because of the topography and geography, they live in mountain villages. They have to walk everywhere they go, up and down the mountains. Basically, they're doing stair climber all day long. Lots of exercise. They too celebrate old people, they're elderly. They are made to feel a part of the family and of the culture. And the other thing that they have is they have a special cheese called pecorino cheese. Now, this is a special cheese made from special milk that is gotten from special sheep that eat special grass. And now this cheese has a super high level of a CLA, a conjugated linoleic acid, which has very high levels of omega-3 fats. Now, you've heard that omega-3s are good for you, right? Well, this cheese has super high levels. Now, a word of warning to you cheese lovers out there, the Sardinians have a special dish made with pecorino cheese that is called kazu marzu, in which they intentionally introduce live fly maggots or larvae into the cheese to eat the cheese and partially digest it. The dish kazu marzu is kind of runny, and some of the Italians pick out the live maggots before they eat it, and others, I'll leave it up to your imagination. They also have Cannonau wine. Now, this is a red wine made from Cannonau grapes, which has 5 to 10 times more antioxidants than regular red wine. Now, you've heard that red wine is good for you, right? Good for the heart. Actually, it's the red skin on red grapes that is good for you. Okay? So you could drink red grape juice and get the same benefit, like Welch's grape juice, very good for you. Now, this Cannonau wine has 5 to 10 times more antioxidants than regular red wine. So there's thought that maybe this is what is helping their longevity as well. But in Sardinia, their longevity is rapidly disappearing. How? They are adopting a sedentary lifestyle and a changing diet. They are adopting the Western diet of fast food and processed food. And because now many things are mechanized and they have machines, they don't have to do as much exercise and labor as before. And they're adopting a sedentary lifestyle, a lack of exercise. Moving on to the third blue zone, Okinawa, Japan. This island on the southwest corner, the furthest island in Japan's long chain of islands, is home to another genetically isolated and homogeneous group of people. In fact, I'm Korean, and I thought all the Japanese were the same. But actually, the Okinawans consider themselves different. They have their own culture, they have their own religion, and they even have their own language. In fact, they don't even consider themselves Japanese. They consider themselves Okinawans that were taken in by Japan as that empire grew. Now, what did the team learn about them? First, their diet is low in caloric density. What does that mean, caloric density? That means that it takes up a lot of space in your belly, but it doesn't have many calories. Caloric density. 1 tablespoon of any kind of oil, cooking or non-cooking oil, 1 tablespoon is equal to 100 calories. That is the same as 1.5 whole oranges. 1.5 oranges is 100 calories. Now, which of the two do you think will make you more full? Right, the oranges. Now, that is also the same as cooked broccoli, not 1 cup, not 2 cups, not 3 cups, but 4 cups of cooked broccoli. Now, which will you be more full with? 1 tablespoon of oil or 4 cups of cooked broccoli? I think the answer is quite obvious. That is caloric density. 1 order of Wendy's Biggie's Fry is 490 calories. That is the same number of calories that is in, now let's get medium Idaho baked potatoes. We're going to have a baked potato bar, okay? And in our baked potatoes, I'm going to let you stuff it with any of the free vegetables, okay? So that could be cooked broccoli, that could be sauteed mushroom and onions, salt and pepper, but you can't put any fat in it, okay? No sour cream butter or cheese. How many of those medium Idaho baked potatoes do you think you could eat at one sitting? I'll let you drink water on the side, okay? Water and medium Idaho baked potato bar, how many could you eat loaded like that? It would take 1, 2, 3, 4.5 medium Idaho stuffed baked potatoes to equal 490 calories. You got to eat the whole thing, skins and all. That's not the bad part about French fries. The bad part is we just said that we would be totally stuffed with maybe 3 loaded baked potatoes, okay? The problem is on the French fries, you and I know that if we go down to Wendy's today and we're eating the French fries, we are not satisfied with the French fries as the main dish. We're looking for the 600-calorie burger and the 250-calorie Coke. Why is that? When we just said that the potatoes would fill us with 3, maybe 4, if we're really adventurous, 4 loaded baked potatoes would totally stuff us as the entree. Why is it that when we get French fries, that's a side dish to the 800 extra calories in the meal? That's the power of calorie density, okay? So we want to eat foods that are low calorie density. Another thing that they eat is tofu. They eat 8 times more tofu than Americans. Now, tofu is made from soybeans, and beans are really what is the good part in there. Beans are the healthiest meat and protein source you can eat. Beans used to be called the poor man's meat because in the old days, poor people couldn't afford to eat meat every day. Oh, so they had to eat beans. Actually, God had designed it so that the poorest people of the world could be the healthiest people in the world. Another thing that the Okinawans have is a strong sense of purpose. The researchers estimated that it adds 7 years of life, healthy life, to have a strong sense of purpose. Why we get up in the morning? What is our purpose in life? What is our mission in life? Do we have a higher goal, something higher than ourselves? They also have a social network of elders. Every town, every little area has moais, which are the Japanese word, the Okinawan word for small groups, social groups, where the elderly get together and they share meals and joys and sorrows on a regular basis. Keeps them socially interconnected. But they're losing their edge on longevity. How? Now Okinawa has the most fast food restaurants in all of Japan. And they have the highest obesity rate in all of Japan. The researchers observed two distinct populations. One following the traditional Okinawan way of life with their exercise and their diet, and they're maintaining their longevity. But the second group, the younger generation, are quickly adopting the fast food lifestyle and the lack of exercise, so characteristic of the Western civilization. And now Okinawa has the highest obesity rate in all of Japan. How tragic to lose that type of inheritance. Finally, we come to the last blue zone, Loma Linda, California. Yay, the United States. Go USA. Everyone knows where California is on the southwest coast of the United States, but many of you may not know where Loma Linda is. Basically, it's a suburb of LA, Los Angeles. You know, Los Angeles is by the coast, and if you travel directly east for about an hour into the desert, you'll reach Loma Linda, California. Basically, it's a desert, right? Now, what did the team learn about them? First off, they keep a literal 24-hour Sabbath each Saturday, each week. From sunset to sunset, they have time to unplug from work and stress and plug in to God and family. We all need downtime, right? We all need time to recharge and rejuvenate. They also have a very large social network. Churches in most communities around the country and around the world. They are in the most countries in the world of any Protestant denomination, and they have the largest Protestant hospital and school system in the world. A large social network keeps everyone connected. They also recommend eating a big breakfast. We've all heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, right? Well, big breakfasts go way back in the Adventist culture. In fact, back in the mid-1800s, when the church was just getting started, the Kellogg brothers started Kellogg Cereal Company, making whole grain corn cereals for breakfast, for people who didn't have time to make their oatmeal and other hot cereals, so they made a cold cereal. Now, Kellogg's has since changed and introduced a lot of unhealthy sugared cereals, but there are cereals that you can choose that are whole grain, and those are very good for you. It's highly recommended that you eat a big breakfast. In fact, one of the best ways to gain weight is to skip breakfast. I have many patients who say, "Oh, I don't eat a breakfast, and I eat a light lunch." Well, that means you're eating most of your calories in the evening. And tell me, how much control do we have over the quantity of food and the quality of food in the evening? Not much, right? Start your day off right. Eat a big breakfast, and it will help you get healthier and lose weight. They also have a diet that is taken from Genesis 1:29, generally a vegetarian diet. In Genesis 1:29, and it says, "Then God said, Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed, and every tree which has fruit yielding seed. It shall be food for you." Please refer to my first presentation, God's Health Plan, for a complete picture of that type of a diet from Genesis 1:29. They also are the most genetically diverse blue zone. All the other blue zones are genetically homogeneous, if you've noticed that. But the Adventist blue zone, anyone can join that. They are not based on a genetic culture. They are based on a religio-social culture. So there are Hispanic churches, there are Korean churches, there are Japanese churches, there's Chinese churches, Romanian, Russian, and of course, English churches. Anyone can adopt the Adventist lifestyle and expect to reap the benefits. In fact, the author, Dan Buettner, who is not a religious person in the traditional sense of religion, he believes that if he follows the Adventist diet, he says, quote, "Even though I may never become a Seventh-day Adventist, I can adopt their lifestyle and expect to reap the benefits that they receive." So which blue zone can someone just walking off the street join and expect to reap the benefits? I can't go as a Korean and join the Costa Rican Nicoyans and adopt their lifestyle and actually expect to reap the benefits I may or I may not. But scientifically, that's based on their genetic makeup, you see. And neither can I go to Sardinia and follow their lifestyle and be guaranteed that I'll reap the benefits. But I can go to the Adventist lifestyle and adopt their lifestyle and expect to reap the same benefits. The final point is that the Adventist blue zone is the only blue zone that is not losing their longevity. Think about that, friends. How? Why? Loma Linda, California is surrounded by fast food restaurants. They're immersed in noise pollution, air pollution, traffic, stress, yet they're retaining their longevity. How? Why? Because they are remaining faithful to their blue zone no matter how society is changing around them. And that is my health, hope, desire for you today, friend, that you would remain faithful to your blue zone. At the end of his book, Dan Buettner summarizes the 9 lessons that he learned from the blue zones. And I'll go over them at this time. Number 1 is be active. Regular low-intensity physical activity. Make it a part of your daily work routine. And if you have a sedentary job, try to make intentional time to get up and do stairs or walk or stretch. Number 2, practice hara hachibu, which is the Okinawan concept of eat until you're 80% full. Avoid overeating. Oftentimes in America, most of us eat until we're 100% full and probably a little extra. Friends, all we need to do is eat until we get to our next meal. There will be food coming. There's not a famine in the land. We don't have to stock up. So all we need to do is just eat enough calories to take us to our next meal. Hara hachibu. Okay? Third, eat predominantly plants. Eat a plant-based diet. Avoid meat and processed foods. And all the blue zones use lots of beans. Remember, beans, 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 the ideal meat and the ideal protein. Number 4, red grapes. Remember, the juice is just as good. This one is taken from the Sardinians with the Cananao wine. Number 5, have a plan de vida. That means why I wake up in the morning, a plan for your life. Find a mission, a purpose, a goal for your life. And 6, rest. Rest 1 whole day each week, not just a little 1-hour time at church or the synagogue or your temple, but the whole 24 hours. Take time to unplug and do some other diversion, whether it's religious, and if you're not religious, some other diversion other than your daily work routine. Number 7, faith. Believe in someone or something greater than yourself. Now, the reason I say something is because the Okinawans, they are not religious in the sense of believing in a God. They believe in their ancestors. They worship their ancestors. So, believe in someone or something greater than yourself. Number 8, family. Put family first. Make time to spend with your family. In this society, in this modern time where forces are pulling the family apart, share meals together. Intentionally make time together. And finally, number 9, tribe. Surround yourself with others who do the same thing, the same healthy lifestyle, the blue zone that you do. And that they will motivate you to continue on against the current of the media and modern society. This slide illustrates a Venn diagram of 3 of the blue zones that Dan Buettner studied. And for those of you who don't understand Venn diagrams, basically you make circles for each of the groups and you list in those circles the characteristics that seem to give their longevity. And then you merge the circles together, and the 2 circles that merge together and share characteristics, they're in the shared circles, and the ones characteristics that are unique are outside the shared areas. Well, the center is where I want you to focus, because that is what the statisticians call the sweet spot. The sweet spot here on this Venn diagram, it might be a little fuzzy, so I've listed it on another slide, are these. Number 1, family. Very important. No smoking. Smoking is one of the most damaging things we can do to our longevity and health. Number 3, eat a plant-based diet. I can't stress that enough. Constant, moderate physical exercise is number 4. Make it a part of your life. And 5 is social engagement, connectedness, bond. We are created to be social creatures, not hermits. And number 6, legumes, beans and peas. I cannot stress beans enough in changing a diet to get away from diabetes, cholesterol, and chronic diseases. And so that brings us to the end of the Blue Zone presentation. And friend, my prescription for you today is to get in the zone, the Blue Zone. Live long, live well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yim. I hope you've learned a lot today about Blue Zones. This was part 1 of a 3-part series. So we want to remind you and make sure that you tune in again for part 2 with Dr. Paul Yim, a family physician here in Nashville, Tennessee. And we want to thank you today for joining us at HealthHope. I hope you have enjoyed the time you've spent with us. And remember, health is the goal and hope is the anchor. Today I have a very special invitation for you. I hold in my hand a flyer. It is inviting you to a health lecture series called Healthy Living. It's going to be in Madison, Tennessee, held at the Middle Tennessee School of Anesthesia. They're going to cover topics like blood pressure, cancer prevention, understanding depression, and even how to preserve your memory. That would be a great one, I think, to attend for sure. It's going to start September 8th and will be every Saturday afternoon at 2:30 through October 6th. Now remember, that's September 8th through October 6th in Madison. And I know that you're not going to want to miss one of those lectures. So for more information, you can call this number, 615-859-1391. Or if you would like more information, you can email us at healthhope@live.com. Now that's healthhope@live.com.